Next up, we have a panel discussion on who decides in the AI economy, agents versus platforms. May I request on stage Mr. Ashutosh Singh, founder and CEO, RevRag AI, Mr. Gopal Swaminathan, CEO, Bsharp Sales Enablers, Mr. Manoj Varma, Director, Lyra Network, Mr. Shriram Adukoorie, co-founder, Concerto AI, Mr. Vijay Gopal, Country Head, GTM, BFSI, and FinTech AWS. This panel discussion is moderated by Mr. Sreenath C. Lakshmanan, founder and CEO, i4 Digital Value. Please give a big round of applause as we welcome the speakers.
Good afternoon and a warm welcome to this panel discussion. Today we have a very interesting and timely topic. Who decides in the AI economy, whether it is AI agents or AI platforms, and the significance of human oversight. So one of the key word here is, or the key topic is decision making. When you look at decision making, I would like to just go back to the history. In 1956, there was a conference called Dartmouth Conference, wherein the term AI was coined by John McCarthy. So we have traveled 70 years with AI. And initial stages, AI was just an idea. The progress was very slow until machine learning became practical during the 1990s, where AI became more powerful. And a big leap from deep learning, leap forward by deep learning, around 2012, made AI still more powerful. We had LLMs, generative artificial intelligence, and many innovations and inventions coming in. Today, also we do have, look at AI platforms, AI agents, agentic AIs, and different models. But there was one challenge, one key challenge, which was always there from the beginning till today. Beginning means I'm talking from 1990s when machine learning became practical. And that challenge was giving AI reliable decision-making ability. So today we are going to talk about decision-making. That is one of the themes. I take this opportunity to welcome the distinguished panel members. And what we have done is, we have tried to make this a little bit simple by having two rounds. So the first round is called the perspective that stays. So what is the audience takeaway from this is that you're going to hear the perspective of the distinguished panel speakers based on their experience and also key learnings. And the second round is something called as a key takeaway spotlight, where as a moderator, I want you to walk away with some great insights from these speakers. So it has been a great pleasure to have you here and a greater privilege to hear your insights. So with this, let me start my session. I think I'll go with Ashutosh first. So RevRag, right? RevRag,
Hello, yes.
Ashutosh, you lead RevRag. RevRag AI, actually you develop in-app AI agents for onboarding, sales, and support. So my question to you is, what are the challenges which you faced when you wanted to define the decision-making authority when you developed the AI agent? That is the first one. And the second one is, how did you manage the thresholds for, decision-making?
Right. Thanks everyone. Thanks, Sreenath. Myself, Ashutosh. I'm co-founder and CEO at RevRag AI. So I'll just take a moment to introduce what we do. So we build in-app AI agents. Imagine Siri sitting inside the app, guiding you, completing the work, taking actions, co-browsing, doing generative UI to hyper-personalize your screen, so on and so forth, right? We majorly target BFSI companies such as PhonePe, Motilal, Mahindras of the world, right? And yeah, that's what we do. So, first of all, I would like to tell everyone that we all know that the LLMs are kind of neural networks, right? They what we perceive as a decision making is not actually decision being made by them, right? Uh, we really don't understand what is happening inside that black box and why it is leading to an decision. It is a it is a perception of ours that okay, LLMs are able to give decision to us, right? But in the real picture, if you see, LLMs are not able to take right decisions. So you have to basically build modeling around it so that you are able to run code on top of it and reach to a conclusion, okay, this is right or this is wrong, separately with algorithms, right? How we try to solve that problem for a lot of our customers is we first try to understand what is the use case probably, right? And we try to go very, very deep into the use case. I'll tell you one example. When we started with very sharp focus on onboarding only, and that too onboarding for lending. And then even for lending, we went for documentation drop-offs. So we did know if we want to reduce the drop-off of documentation, what will be the thing that we need to say to a customer in order to stop that leakage that are happening, right? Because if you deploy that AI on a larger scale, it will start to hallucinate, right? And we in 2025 were facing these issues. What we did, first layer was we started doing multi-agent architecture, which led to low token sizes on each of our agents. Because if let's say there is 15 step onboarding, then it might take like 10 to 15 minutes to complete that onboarding, right? In a BFSI environment, right? So context are being loaded on the agent. And the more the context, the more the agent will hallucinate, right? And it will not be able to give the right decisioning, right context, right guidance to a customer. Even guidance in a way is kind of decisioning, right? So you have to understand how you can divide that multi-agent architecture. So what we did was we divided each page as a separate agent, atomic agents of sub-agents of sort, right? To only give less than 2,000 tokens per agent. Second was we experimented with what you call agent flow type of a technique, where we used to give Python scripts to the agent in order to basically run that kind of a code. Second. Third, what we did was even giving screen context to the agent, and then thresholds were being built, right? So in order to get those threshold running, you have to do even pre-production evals and then post-production evals, right? Pre-production evals, what we do is right now, we try to do as many use cases, as many test cases as possible. And that too, we do it like on voice and chat both, right? Then when we go live, we run, let's say 10 to 20% production evals, which we also call observability. Then from that pieces, we understand, okay, where the decision is breaking, where we can probably improve. And then that's the cycle that we do.
But you have the governance agents also with you. How do you control the governance agents?
Absolutely. So as we are more focused on BFSI, so BFSI, you need to be very reliant and compliant with these agents, right? So what we have done at our end is that we have trained all the agent, or basically not training is not the right word, but we have kept guidelines, demarcations on each of the agent depending on what is the SEBI guideline. Let's say if it is a wealth agent, what is the RBI guideline that if it is a let's say a lending agent, so on and so forth, right? So there are governance angled based on the compliance related, and then there is, as we have multi-agent architecture, then there is a supervisor layer that we have put, and then that supervisor layer actually understands, okay, what is going wrong and where we need to tweak it. We even are able to understand what is the percentage of script adherence that we are having. Let's say there was 7 to 8% script non-adherence. Then we will be able to know by running evals, okay, this is the agent, how it is being basically running off script. Right.
Thank you. I think we'll come to compliance again. It's one of the most important topics. So Gopal, so you run Bsharp.
Oops.
Bsharp focuses on AI-enabled frontline learning. So as a part of your journey, what has been your experience in the use of AI in the learning field?
Thank you, Sreenath. Good afternoon, everybody. Great pleasure to talk to all of you. I run a company called Bsharp. Bsharp is a learning agent, if you want to call it that way, right? So if you look at companies like retail companies, typically, companies like, say, Dell, Amazon, they have a retail presence, actually, right? IFB, various customers. Their retail salespeople use our app for becoming expert in the job that they're doing. That's the simplest way you can put it, right? And now we've sort of moved into AI-based training enablement, which is now a given. But now we're moving into the area of AI learning agents, right? So basically means that suppose like you have a company like, say, a Titan or an IFP. They have hundreds of products and thousands of salespeople, right? So how do I make sure that each salesperson should learn exactly what they have to learn, right? There are like hundreds of coaches or thousands of coaches, thousands of pieces of information that they need to know, right? How they should learn exactly what they need to know so that it's aligned to the objective of the company. And the second is, when they know a particular product, right? So for example, if it's a front load washing machine or whatever it is, how do they know exactly what are the aspects they need to know to be successful in their job, right? As a salesperson, as a service engineer, whatever it is, right? So if you can think about it, like learn what and learn deep, right? So we have two agents. One is a learn what agent, which will basically recommend the person based on their profile, right? What they need to learn. And the second is to make sure that they know exactly all the things they are supposed to know, right? So that they can do their jobs better, right? From the perspective of their profile. Now the challenge is as follows, right? One is, how do I recommend a person? So basically, like Ashutosh said, it's a black box. LLM typically is a black box, right? So how do I make sure that there are no biases? And this works on some 20 different languages, right? So I need to make sure, first of all, that the training in Vietnamese, and we have Vietnamese support, is the same as that in English. And there are no, dilutions which happen in the content by the AI agent, right? So one is like, how do I make sure that across multi-language it happens? But how do I reduce biases? So for example, suppose like the system is a black box and it's recommending content. Suppose this person is taking it in Vietnamese. You recommend a type of content for them, right? Now there is this other guy who's talking to the system in English, right? Very sophisticated. You recommend another set of content for it, right? You're going to introduce bias, right? And over a period of time, maybe there is a big divergence between what the person learns in Vietnamese and what the person learns in English, right? And huge career implications which are there and things like that. So how do I deliberately make sure the person in Vietnamese and person in English is learning on the basis of not biases, but some basic facts, which basically comes down to the governance principles the companies set. So you need to have governance principles which are there, which is what the previous speaker was also talking about. And it's very easier said than done right? And I think there will be, agent whisperers who are there in the organization, and it will be like, people who are actually tuning these agents and things, right? And then you'll have, supervisory agents which will monitor this entire thing to make sure that there is biases are eliminated. And then you need to have an audit layer, right? So this is the journey which we are in right now. Right.
So one of the follow-up question is, from the compliance point of view, because Ashutosh also was talking about the compliance. So I would like to understand, what kind of compliance in India, because, the AI compliance is still maturing there. So what kind of I can ask you, like, how did you navigate the compliance and regulatory requirements for your...
If anybody comes and says that they have navigated and they are like completely compliant and everything is going to happen, they're joking.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's a completely moving topic. Right. So ultimately, when I have an AI agent, however I orchestrate it, right, it will come under the umbrella of a DPDP Act. Yeah. Right. So a DPDP Act it's a very hard act, right? And the option is between compliance and jail. Right? Is about productivity improvement and 250 crore fine. Right? So it is not an option. Right? And we need to sort of think about various levels of compliance. Right? One is to introduce biases, to reduce the biases which are there in the system. Second is auditability of the results. Right? So I should be able to find out why that person was has been recommended what it is. Yeah, and things like that. Third is, like, say I have a learning engine. That engine by design actually learns. And then I have to offer a facility to forget for the user. Right? So the user can come and say, please forget all my data, and it has to unlearn. So how am I going to orchestrate, this kind of a thing? So it is, I think, a moving part, right? And we are learning as we go along.
Yeah. So, Vijay, you actually head the go-to-market for AWS, for BFSI and FinTech. We all understand it, in terms of Amazon Web Services contributing for the global and also for, Indian market in a very big way. So one of the things we always see is, of course, you have to follow global standards and then, also look at the local requirements and then take it forward. So in this regard, my question to you is, can you share your perspectives on the key AI-driven forces which is transforming the BFSI and FinTech landscape today?
Sure, Sreenath. Good afternoon, everyone. Pleasure to be with all of you here. So I am the country head for go-to-market for AWS, for BFSI and FinTech. And in that role, we have this great opportunity to work with a lot of our customers who are trying to do things on agentic AI and generative AI and a lot of activities happening there. So we have the unique privilege of working with them, seeing closely the challenges, enabling them through the journey and so on. So in that regard, what we are clearly seeing is that AI now is no longer just a feature. It's more like it's as close to an operating system in some sense from a business standpoint, right? And that's truly the lens that we need to look at. Gone are the days, when AI was just, it's just one task automation. It's no longer that. And we're really talking about end-to-end workflows, right? And that's the journey that we are seeing, and that's fascinating to see, honestly, right? The pace at which we are moving. We are seeing a lot of use cases. For example, just in banking and financial services, we are seeing use cases in claims. We are seeing use cases in underwriting. We are seeing use cases in customer onboarding, taking care of compliance, all of that, right? Like where these agentic workflows can be embedded. The beauty is that, you can now do hyper-personalization at scale, right? You always could do hyper-personalization, but now you can do hyper-personalization at scale. Now, what does it mean? It means that for each of you, products can be tailored to suit your unique requirements, right? What is it that you want at the time you want it, possibly at the price that you want it as well, right? Like, so that's really the power, that we are seeing. And what we are seeing is that, there are interesting aspects as well, right? As AI is increasing, AI cybercrime is also increasing, right? And We were at this discussion the other day where we realized that the attacker could be AI native, but the enterprise might not be. Right? So how do you deal with it? Right? Like, so you cannot have manual systems respond to AI threats. So you have to have AI systems, of course, with the right level of escalation mechanisms to be able to respond to those threats, right? And the other market force I would really want to touch upon, and which Gopal alluded to, is the DPDP Act. I think it's very important. I think now we are in the first 3 months of that journey. The rules are out. The Digital Personal Data Protection Act, for those of you, who want to dig deeper. It clearly lays out how organizations need to get their data in place for them to be AI ready. Right? What does it mean? You need to be able to segregate training data, inference data, operations data, so that AI can do what it has to do, right? So that the purpose for which AI is using the data is clearly established, right? So those are the kind of forces that we are seeing that our customers are grappling with, right? And it's every day. It's a journey in terms of coming up to speed and ramping up and all of that.
Yes. Actually, the DPDP was released in 2023, and now with 2025, they have enhanced it in a very big way.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that has been a significant thing in the compliance.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes.
So Vijay, just as a follow-up, since you handle the market, so how do you see the market dynamics evolving now, and what shifts should industry leaders anticipate going forward based on your experience?
Okay. See, the signs are very clear, right? Like, so 2024 and 25, we were a lot in the POC space era, right? If I might call it. 2026, now we can clearly see the thrust from enterprises to move those POCs to production, right? People want to see value. People want to see results coming out of AI projects. Boards are questioning CXOs, saying, okay, show me the ROI of your AI experiments, right? And that is something that will continue to drive that. Now, as we drive AI acceleration, it's very important to have the right level of frameworks built in from a guardrail standpoint, from a governance standpoint. And I'll touch upon it more in the latter part of the discussion, but those guardrails are super important. Mm-hmm. And that is actually what lets AI grow responsibly, right? So the success really is not how fast you can scale AI, but how fast you can scale AI at an enterprise level, right? Not just as an experiment, and responsibly.
True.
Both are important, right?
Yes.
At an enterprise level and responsibly. Those are really the challenges that leaders would need to navigate in today's environment.
Right. Thank you, Vijay. So, Manoj, you can. Okay, you have the mic, right? So you are the executive director from Lyra Networks. You have been responsible for creating digital payment products for the company, and currently. And earlier also you worked for RuPay e-commerce until 2013. So my question to you is, what has been your experience with AI in terms of decision making for the fintech solutions in 2003? What was the experience? And when you were in RuPay, and today, what is your current experience? So just an understanding of how AI has evolved from 2013 to 2025-26.
Thank you. So I will introduce myself and Lyra, and then I will talk about the agenda that you're talking about. So myself, Manoj Varma, I am leading Lyra Network here in India. Lyra is a French headquartered company. We are into payment solutions. We provide payment solutions to banks and fintechs here in India and globally also. We are present in 20 countries. We have multiple verticals. We have solutions related to M2M and IoT. We have tech solutions for banks on the payment side. We have payment aggregation license from RBI, and we are able to do all the payment solutions and processing for merchants. So this is what we do. And coming back to the other question, today things have changed. In the earlier days, I will tell you a very basic example also. Even, the process of shopping or buying a grocery, was very different. It was physical. Physically you go there and you tell the salesman about the price band of yours. and colors, etc. And then he will show you something, and you will select, and the process will get completed. When the online commerce came in, you started doing the same thing. You do some filter, you tell the price, and you do some filtering. But what has happened over a period of time, this is my experience, and everybody can relate it. The time that is getting consumed to do online shopping has increased significantly. So, we think that, online shopping is taking less time, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, but ultimately it is not taking that much of time. It is taking too much of our time, So when we try to do grocery shopping or a regular shopping also, it is taking too much of time now. Sometimes hours. Because what is happening, platform is trying to, give you many options, and options are unlimited. So when options are unlimited, you keep on, getting into that, and your decision is not happening. Decision is taking a lot of time. Even with grocery, earlier times you prepare a list, give the list to the kirana shop, he will deliver, and process is done. Today, in the cart you're adding, hundreds of items, and you keep adding, and then suddenly, there is some other task that you need to handle. So you wait and go back to the next task, and when you come back, half of the list is not available in the cart, then you have to redo. So it is taking a lot of time. So with AI agents, now the efficiency has come in. So now what will happen? Your time will reduce significantly, because the entire decision that you were taking now will be taken by the agent. And agent, you just have to tell what you want. So you prepare the list, you tell him, 500 grams, this item, etc., this brand, and which normally it is pre-decided in our mind, when we try to do a shopping. So you put that list, you give it that list, and automatically in 5-10 minutes, the entire order will be placed, and checkout, etc. Payment is also now embedded in the entire checkout process using the AI, and everything will get completed. So agents will become the boon for humanity. A lot of efficiency will come in, a lot of time saving will happen for the humankind, and this free up time we can use for our leisure and other activities. So this is one of the boons that has happened with the AI agents, and we should definitely use it at the enterprise level, at the consumer level also we should use it. So platforms basically will do some part of it, but the AI agents will do most of it. Similarly, when I relate to the fintech space, my RuPay experience and today's experience, during the RuPay time, we did a lot of things manually. And as the technology was progressing, we did some automation. But when we did the automation workflow, always we do one task, then there is a human intervention. We do the second task, again human intervention and decision is there, then the third task. And this is how the 10 task is happening. But with the emergence of AI agents, now I'm able to do this task 1 to 10 in one flow without human intervention. So this is the change. So this is increasing a lot of productivity for all our employees, efficiency, time saving, money saving. So ultimately, we are very happy with this entire, agentic AI. It is helping a lot to us. Yeah.
So just as a follow-up, probably Vijay, you could answer, or, actually, Ashutosh is BFSI. You also come from BFSI background, and Manoj also. The question is, you already told us about the transformation which is happening in the BFSI space. But what is the one common thing which I am seeing here is the way this fintech and BFSI is growing, is substantial amount of AI work going on. So please correct me if I'm wrong. I think, so what in the futuristic way, I think this is going to accelerate in a big way, right? That's what is my opinion. So what do you feel? Because from your agent perspective, when you develop, or from your market perspective, or from the way he is looking at in terms of enhancing the AI, so this market is always going to be there. I mean, sorry, the kind of growth for AI.
Definitely, Sreenath. I think what's really happening is that thanks to AI, banks are getting closer to fintechs because they are able to innovate faster.
Yeah.
Fintechs are having to get closer to banks because they are having to comply. Right? That's, in some sense, AI is acting as an equalizer, if you were to think about it, right? And of course, it's spurring a lot of growth potential. I'm carefully using the word potential, because a lot of things still need to be ironed out, right? Especially when we're talking of autonomous agents and workflows and the human supervision and all of that. A lot of things are still getting figured out, but the scope is enormous. Like we are already seeing signs of customer support going, agentic. We are seeing sales lead generation going agentic. We are seeing collections going agentic. So imagine, people taking loans and or even a simple credit card, right? Like for some reason, let's say you miss your monthly payment. You've just forgotten, it slipped your mind. You get a voice call, possibly in your native language, saying, hey, you missed this. Why don't you pay it today so that you don't incur any fine? Right? That's a very simple use case of a voice bot driven intervention.
Right. Thank you for that. So Shriram, I just want to make this an open question for you, because I know your profile. You worked with Wipro and then a long time in Microsoft, and you have started so many companies. So my question to you is, what has been your journey in AI, right, over these years? How have you looked upon the learning from AI and transpired that to the many of the organizations which you have founded, and of course your experience from Microsoft, whether really you started something from about AI from there. Please do share your key learnings and experience.
Hi everyone, I'm Shriram, and I run a company called Concerto AI. I shouldn't be saying I'm running this company still because it was acquired 18 months ago. Broadly, what I would say is this is a pre-AI company, the way AI is talked about today. Basically, it's a pre-LLM company. We started the company in 2017 trying to do automated telephone calls with NLP technology for small business in the US. So currently about 2,500 spas, gyms, fitness centers, yoga studios use this our software to automate customer interaction in the US. And we have seen this journey from how difficult it was initially to automate some of these calls and deal with all these compliance related or governance and oversight related things when technology was not at this level, and suddenly everything changed after the LLMs or generative AI based models came into the market based on deep learning. It's not very easy to come at the end of a panel, but what I would try to do is I want to keep the discussion a bit broad and give you some examples of how one should look at agents, whether you're deploying or building these agents for your company that you can sell. Broadly, before I jump into it, so that all of us have a clear understanding of or are on the common page of what a platform is and what an agent is. Vijay talked about operating system. You can think of platform as the intelligence operating system. So the models that come from all the foundational companies, your data pipelines, your memory, your tooling, all that is at that intelligence OS. So without the intelligence OS, there's no agent. And so the platform's actually deploying intelligence, but the agent is almost like a human is not going and doing something crazy, then, that's the design principle.
Manoj.
So from my perspective, I would say, agents, will define the future. And so we should, build a lot of trust and wisdom with, agents also, because ultimately decision making will happen with the agent. So this is, there is no second thoughts about it, and this is what will happen. So we need to, upskilling of the agent is also very important. So as Shriram mentioned that there is an oversight by the another agent and there is no continuous feedback, but yes, continuous upskilling is important. So all the feedback that is collected and oversight what is been done, it will be used to upskilling of the agent continuously. The way humans are getting upskilled every time, agents will also get upskilled, every time. So, we need to empower agents more and more.
Sure. So I think we've had a great discussion on agents and platforms which use those agents, right? So I think it's very important to balance between autonomy and accountability, right? So if I may put it very simply, if you have accountability but no autonomy with respect to agents, then you're not going anywhere, right? There will be inertia. On the other hand, if you have autonomy no accountability is very risky, right? So the solution lies in restrained autonomy, right? And that's really where governance becomes super important. So I would urge you all to look at governance as something which enables automation, not as a tax on innovation, because governance done right actually accelerates, your pace of development. And the way to do it, and we have seen this from an AWS standpoint, is to embed that into your design, embed that into your systems, embed that into your technology. What do we mean by that, right? When you're thinking identity, when you're thinking access, when you're thinking observability, right? Embed that so that your systems, from day one, ensure that your agents are accountable. Right? So that's really the thought that I would want to leave you all with. Thanks.
Gopal.
Hey, thanks, Vijay. Agents are actually optimization engines. It basically means that I set up a goal for that agent, and that agent starts doing and working towards that goal, and it has a black box or a quasi black box inside, which will help you to optimize that goal, right? Over a period of time, sometimes people will start misusing the agent, right? And basically anything which that this is a specific goal, people will start misusing it, right? So basically, we need to be very deliberate about the goal setting for that particular agent. And I'll tell you my example in this, right? So for example, if you're supposed to have a learn deep agent, where the agent is supposed to make that person learn a particular topic, right? So will that person learn it as a trainer? Will that person learn the topic as a seller? Will that person learn it for demo purposes, right? So a deliberate target setting for that agent and monitoring vis-a-vis target to make sure that misuse doesn't happen is a very important part of the agentic platform.
I think a lot of things around agent. I'll tell majorly about POCs. So what I have seen a lot of enterprises or companies doing POCs, they know, okay, they want to basically do or use AI. It's coming from the board, okay, use AI everywhere, wherever you want, right? The problem there is that if you're a product manager or someone who is trying to use AI, I think you should go for success criteria wherever you are trying to use first. Second is the success criteria should, in easier term, I would say, try to look for time enhancement, revenue enhancement, cost decrease, right? I think these three things, if you are trying to look at and combine them three, if in a agent you are able to achieve, that's like amazing, right? It will save the startup's cost as well and your cost as well, right? So being a startup, I can understand how POCs are run, right? And there is version 1, version 2, version 3. So if you are not defining POCs correctly, that will harm your time and the startup's time. Second point is that if, let's say, there has been a wrong POC with a partner, you should try to do another POC as well. Because see, people are seeing results. You should not just say, okay, AI doesn't work. AI is working for you. Just have to understand why it is going wrong for you. So I think that's the important takeaway from my side.
Thank you very much, panel members. So just to conclude very quickly, today decisions are no longer made by humans alone. AI agents make many real-time choices. Platforms decide the rule they follow. Humans are responsible for setting up values, limits, and accountability. As we conclude, there is again, this truth stands out. The future of decision-making is not human or AI, it is human with AI. And still, the decision-making journey continues. The reason is we are still coming out, and a lot of things like AGI and ASIs are all coming up. So this decision-making topic will continue. With that, the journey continues. Thank you very much. For Q&A, it's already time up. We'll be available, so please meet us.
Thank you, esteemed speakers, for a wonderful session. I request all the speakers to...
Yes.
Let's take a moment to acknowledge our partners who have made IDS 2026 possible. Bronze partner, Q Raptor, Smart Parking partner, Valet Easy, AI storytelling partner Pocket FM.